If you fast forward with us in your mind to the 1950s, there's a piece up at Comic Attack that I was just looking at, breaking down the Comics Code Authority, which might stun some people that this thing actually existed. We had critics of comic books arguing that they portrayed racism and sexy scenes and crime, divorce, foul language, torture. The article here, this is my favorite line. I was especially amused by the rule that policemen, judges, government officials, and respected institutions should not be portrayed as stupid, ineffective, or represented in such a way as to weaken respect for established authority. That's the Comics Code Authority of the 1950s. We've been dealing with this kind of reaction to American entertainment and comics specifically for a long time, haven't we?
The Comics Code Authority came about in 1954, and comics were, they had a, probably putting it lightly, they had a major PR problem at the time. And there were basically anybody in authority was crusading against comics at that time, and the basic assumption was that comics were causing juvenile delinquency in just across the board. That this was the worst thing.
And I'm just going to ask for the sake of argument, but was there any evidence that comics actually were causing America's juveniles to become juvenile delinquents?
Well, it goes back to something that my professors taught me all the time in college, which is correlation is not causation. And basically, what researchers weren't taking into account is that the reason that all juvenile delinquents seem to be comic book fans is that the vast majority of kids in the 1950s got their entertainment through comics. Circulation was at its all-time high in the 1940s and 1950s, and a typical comic book might be read by as many as 10 kids. It would get passed around, and it was one of the absolute leading forms of entertainment. So it would probably be like claiming that television or the internet or any number of things today are what's causing juvenile delinquency.